You cannot help but be in a space like this and just be grateful, and so many full circle moments. So obviously, it goes without saying, but Dr. Blake, to hear someone like you speak of me in such a way really is an honor, because your leadership and the work that you have done for so many years has transcended so many careers in this room and has impacted so many people, to the point where your students and your teachers are now leading districts and schools. So if that's not sustainable leadership, I don't know what is. And when we talk about sustainable leadership, we needn't look further than Chancellor Lester Young. And when we think of all the lives that he has touched and how many of us are in positions of leadership and have remained in education and have identified our why because of the work that educators like him have done, it only stands to reason that we're all in this room together. When I think about the work that it takes to make education impactful, we have to look to our partners in community and government. And when I think of, as we would say in Spanish, a campeona, champion, I think of fierce, strong, brilliance, class, and I think of Speaker Adrienne Adams. And I will just say that the Black Studies curriculum was quite a ride. And the people who put it together stayed the course. We were in the middle of a transition, coming into a new administration. David and Sheena were key architects, and now they're running the school system and City Hall. And we had to get the work moving. And I remember having the conversation with Chancellor Banks, and he was like, we need to get this done. And God bless our hub. I call them our hubs. Michelle Patterson and Kimma Reed, you kept us focused. You kept us on track. We could not have done that work without you. And so I want to thank you. And, you know, Patterson Square, the dynamic team. But one thing was very clear, and David and I spoke about this frequently. There is no discussion of an ethnic curriculum until we get Black studies right. And as a Latina, a multiracial Latina who recognizes the great contributions that Black Americans have provided my community, it is imperative that I stand up and I acknowledge that and fight for my brothers and sisters. And it goes beyond recognizing. It goes beyond tolerance. I really dislike the word tolerance. I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to be tolerated. I want to be seen. I want to be loved. I want to be appreciated. And that's what we want for our children. And when people say Black studies is dangerous, I say your curriculum that talks about Black studies in the third person is dangerous. Because in this administration, we tell our own story. We are our own primary resources. We are our own advocates. We are our own validators. And no one is telling our stories but us. And if there is any danger, and there is, because when we change the narrative, there are a lot of people out of business. There are a lot of people who fall on their faces because our truth comes to light. And so if there's anything I hope you walk away with tonight from hearing me and giving me this honor to speak with you, is that you have a committed partner, ally, and advocate in this work. Because when we talk about now developing a Latine curriculum, it is not lost on me how much Black studies is going to be a part of that. Colorism has plagued far too many communities. The Latine community must face its colorism. And we don't talk about that. And it is time we talk about that in myriad communities. But what I always say is, to be Latina is such a dope experience. Because we got all kinds of flavor. But let's be clear, our music, our arts, our traditions, our practices are so deeply rooted in African traditions. And so I remember when David and I had a talk about Black Studies curriculum, and he said, this is so important to me. And I said, it's very important to me too. And he said, it better be because you're my chief of staff. But one thing I did tell him was, we're going to pay attention to the quality. It's not about an announcement. We have to make sure this is standards aligned. It is setting the stage for high instructional expectations. We will not produce a product just to say we checked a box. Because the first thing the haters are going to do is they're going to look at the quality of the curriculum and they're going to say, we already addressed this in a unit. We have Black History Month. We celebrate a couple of people here and there. I will be damned if the quality of a curriculum we roll out does not speak to the value of the people it is representing. And that is what we did with this curriculum, and it was only possible from the work with EAPC, with Dr. Blake, with all of our amazing partners, and I'm just so excited to promote the heck out of this. I'm so excited to see it living in my schools. I'm so excited to match it to outcomes and be able to say, these are the successful student outcomes that happen when children see themselves in a curriculum. I will end on saying that the young people I have seen tonight, Jalea, the young lady Paris who interviewed me earlier, not only do you make this job worthwhile, because Lord knows it is not an easy job. I'm not bored. But what I will say is when you look at our babies and the work that they are doing so early in their academic careers, and when you look at the leadership of people like Superintendent Van Ness, and you look at the leadership of the amazing principals in this room, you say to yourself, I don't care how hard this job is, I gotta fight like hell for my babies and my educators, because there is a reason why I am here. There are no mistakes, and I will not fail you. And I promise you that the way that you have my back, I have yours. Let's get this done.